Hello and welcome to the latest episode of my podcast, The Pocket Stylist. And today we're going to be talking all about what's in for the new season. If you're watching on YouTube, because I'm now going to be popping all my podcasts on YouTube, you'll see my new glasses. God, I've got to tell you about my new glasses. So I went to Pop Specs in Westfield in Shepherd's Bush at the weekend and got some new glasses via Pop Specs. It's the most easy process ever. I took my prescription up and I chose some amazing frames from a lovely selection. They're a little bit quirky. They're very me. They're a little bit big, but I love them. And I love the fact that glasses can be part of our outfit. Anyway, I digress. Today we're going to be talking about the trends for spring summer 2024. Now, we always talk about the trends, don't we? And I never ever say to you, you must always go out and buy every single trend. But for me, the trend is just sometimes a bit of a guide to helping us appear modern. And you don't have to be slave to the trends. You can inject them where you want to. You can ignore them completely if you want to. But I just want to tell you a little bit about what you're going to be seeing for spring summer, because you're going to then start to get an idea of what you're going to see in the stores and the shops, whether it be on the high street, whether it be online, whether it be in a department store, whatever. So there are quite a few, and I'm going to go through them with you. And then what I think I'm going to do next week is tell you all about the shoe trends, because there's shoe trends coming up next season, which are great. They're really nice. And I see so many ladies, what they say to me is, what shoes would you wear with that? What feet will I put with that one? So I thought I'd do a completely different podcast next week, but it all about the shoe trends, because if you're trying to elevate your personal brand, there's nothing worse than your whole outfit looking fantastic and your shoes look rubbish, or you've got great shoes and your outfit doesn't really work. So we're going to try and pull this all together in the way that it is. Now, I've got a list, because if you ask me to remember all these trends, I won't. Hence the reason I've got my glasses on, because otherwise I won't be able to see my list. So I'm going to go through it gently, and then we're going to see where we go with this. See if you can pick up on the ones that you quite like the look of. You might be sitting there thinking, like always, actually, I've got something similar to that. So we know what colours we're going to be wearing because we've covered that before. Now we're going to start looking at what potentially we will be wearing, but it's only a way of looking as to how we create that modern look. It's not about me saying to you, you must wear the trends if you want to look good. It's about, let's just keep them modern. Let's keep it fresh. Let's just inject something that might be a little bit different. So I'm going to start at the beginning. 90s. So 90s is back. And for those of you like me that was around in the 90s, it's really nice, but it's really they've kind of notched it up a level, which I rather like. So you've got the beautiful, you're going to see loads and loads of trench coats, beautiful trench coats out there. There's loads and loads of jeans. There's lots of pinstripe blue shirts. There's lots of cardigans. It's that whole 90s vibe, but it's almost been refined and it looks really lovely. And I like that whole 90s feel. I like the fact that they've kind of bought things in that are slightly different. So you're like, if you think of the whole 90s and that trend when we were all around in the 90s, if you were like me, think about those items that you had, and then think about how they're going to notch it up a little bit. So they've made it in a way quite classic, but then there's a twist to it because it is also a little bit preppy too. So 90s definitely are on the way. Now, the other thing that I think a lot of you will like is the high-rise trouser. Now, loads of us have got the high-waisted trousers because they're super flattering. They create this lovely sleek line. They're just beautiful. So you're going to see them around a lot this season. High-waisted trousers, whether it be jeans, whether it be a wide leg, whether it be a skinny, if you prefer a skinny leg, you're going to see high-waisted tailored trousers. You're going to see anything high-waisted in the form of a trouser, but you're going to get the different styles, but the different brands. So people like Joseph will do one way. You'll have potentially the high street doing it slightly different. You're going to see Dose doing it slightly different. And the designers obviously a little bit more tailored in their approach. So high rise trousers. The other thing to think about is short shorts. Now, not going to be necessarily my favorite. As my husband says, I have little boys' legs and little boys' knees. The short shorts are not really the kind of thing that I'd prefer. So short shorts, meaning the shorts are going to be shorter in length. Now, you might look amazing in those. You might have great legs. You love that kind of look. They're going to be a little bit tailored. There's going to be some denim. There's going to be everything about them, but it's short shorts. It's just for me. They're not my favorite. You will see me wearing a pair of denim shorts. Absolutely, you will. But they won't be short. So this is one of those trends I look at and think, it's really nice, but not for me, thank you. But yeah, short shorts. They might be perfect on holiday, depending on where you're going or what you're doing. But think about how you might wear them moving into spring, summer. So we've got those. The other thing that they're talking about, it's called kind of smell the roses. And what that means is the print. The print is going to be lots and lots of roses, which is rather pretty. But depending again on the brand. So take somebody like Ted Baker. The rose is going to be big and bold and strong. Take somebody like maybe LK Bennett. It's going to be maybe a little bit slightly softer, a little bit more classic, a little bit more, again, refined. But then you might take somebody like All Saints. All Saints, I've already seen it. It's what popped up in my mind. The roses are strong, but they're deep and they're mysterious. So every brand is going to do this trend very differently. If you prefer more of a feminine look to your roses, then definitely steer towards the brand that you know might be slightly more softer, slightly more delicate. Maybe somebody like Phase 8, maybe somebody like Hobbs. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it slightly softer. Whereas if you think of other brands, such as Arquette, their roses are going to be slightly more classic. Actually, saying that, Arquette's got some beautiful 90s kind of inspired collections. Really, really lovely. You'll like those in there. Then think about someone like COS. They might have the roses in a print, but they don't do print that much. But if they do, it's going to be slightly quirky. You're going to get an asymmetric hemline. You're going to get slightly different fabric on your body than you are on your sleeves, that type of thing. So think about roses. If you fancy a print and you're thinking, oh gosh, that's a little bit too pretty for me, go for a brand that is slightly more edgy, and then you can still embrace it if you'd like to. The other thing to think about is they've called it the transparent skirt. Now, I really like this one. You've got what a lot of the skirts have got. They're kind of midi length, but they've got this beautiful kind of sheerness. So you'll have a bit of a lining on it. And then the longer the skirt gets, you've got the transparency. The lining doesn't go down to the hem. They are really, really pretty. There's a lot of brands doing them. There are online brands. Someone like 11 Loves is doing them. You've got people like Saint Sophia, if you've got them. You've also got Next, have a really pretty translucent skirt. And then you can obviously take it into more of a designer look. They're doing them as well. So people like Me and M, you've got Sandro have got them, and some of those brands as well. Beautiful. But you're going to get that transparency in a skirt. Don't panic. It's not transparent all the way down. It's just transparent, maybe 3/4 of it. But it's really, really pretty. And again, really lovely if you want to wear it to work, because you could put it with a formal dress, a formal shirt. You could put it with a lovely long sleeve tee, and then you could put it with a blazer. Again, you can mix it and matching depending on your role, depending on the industry that you work in, that type of thing. So have a think about those, because they are slightly different. The metallics are here to stay. So I spoke about metallics when we spoke about the colours a couple of weeks ago. They're here to stay. The metallics are again, everywhere, from the skirts, which I have to say I've seen in Zara, I've seen in Next, I've seen in H&M, and then we're still seeing them in all the other kind of mid to high level brands as well. Metallics, golds and silvers, they're really prominent. Silver sometimes is a little bit easier to work with and play around with, but you could create yourself a lovely pleated metallic skirt. You could go with one of the blue pinstripe shirts and then pop it with a trench. That could look really nice. The trench, by the way, doesn't have to be what I would call a natural colour trench. You could go for a navy because they're out there. So you can play with it a little bit more. So have a think about those. I quite like the metallics because they just add a little bit of a different dimension. But I fully understand that they can be a little bit scary for some. So have a think about whether you like that. Again, you don't have to do a metallic in the form of a garment. You could do it in the form of a boot. And if you're clever, some of the brands at the moment in the sale are selling some of their metallic pieces. So it could be potentially, if you like it, a time that you can pick it up and then let it go through for you into the new season. So have a think about that. The other one they're talking about is polos. So I always kind of look at the polo t-shirt and think, oh yeah, I remember that when I was younger. But the polo t-shirt, it's going to be massive this season. So again, really easy. If you're quite sporty, if you like that kind of casualness, but you like to look a little bit more put together, the polo shirt's great. Think of brands such as Lacoste. Think of brands such as Polo, Ralph Lauren. They do these polo t-shirts all day, every day. But now what you're going to do, you're going to see them in places like Reese in the form of a little knit, but it's got this polo collar. So when we talk about polo this season, it's all about the collar, the little collar that we see on a polo t-shirt. But people like Reese, LK Bennett have got them. We've also seen other brands such as, I've seen a dress with needle and thread. They've got one. So have a think about the brands that you really like and see if you can kind of mix and match it. I was in, where was I the other day? Fenwick. And Max Mara, they've got them as well. So everybody's going to do them, but they're going to do them to suit their client base. But you might think, oh, actually, I could wear a polo really beautifully with, you might wear the formal cut high-waisted pair of trousers and a blazer for work with a lovely heel. You could do that too. So the collar will always give you a little bit more formality. So have a look at it for sure. And this season, they're going to come in different fabrics. They're not just going to be jersey. You're going to see knitwear, but a lighter knit. You might see textured as well. So it's a really fun one to play with. And what you're starting to see is all of these kind of trends mixing and matching. And how could you bring them into your wardrobe? How can you bring them into your life? How could you wear it to work? How would it embrace your personal brand? All that type of thing. So it's where we look at things and think, like I said to you, the short shorts, not really for me. But I'm thinking the polo, definitely for me. The transparent skirt, yeah, I really like that. The high-waisted trousers, yep, could do that. So actually I'm thinking, oh, if I got a couple of polos, they'll go with my high-waisted trousers. Then they'll go with my transparent skirt. But then I'm thinking, oh, the 90s, if I like those striped shirts, I could grab one of those because that's also going to go with my trousers, but it's also going to go with my transparent skirt. So can you see how it's all starting to come together really lovely? You can obviously bring in the other colours that we spoke about. And last week we talked about the lilac, we talked about the red, we talked about the whites. So there's loads there that you can, it's real food for thought, isn't it? And it's, for me, it's like time to get excited because you're starting to see these collections in the high street. I was in Regent Street the other day before a client, and I walked through Carnaby Street. I went past Never Fully Dressed. I was in Couples, then I went into Selfridges and looked around all the brands, but I dipped into H&M and then I dipped through to Zara. I went into Uniqlo. I went into Sandro. And you know what? It was lovely because all these brands were all doing very similar. But what we can do is we can pull the brand that we love and work out how we're going to wear it for our lifestyle, our personality, and also our personal brand, because that's really, really important that we still wear things that we love, we feel comfortable in, and that represent who we are. And especially if you're a female entrepreneur or a female leader, you might be thinking, do you know what, how can I really make a difference in my role or in my business this year? And I guarantee you, we start playing around with your clothes and everything's going to start to change, because it really does up level you. It starts to make you feel completely different. But that's a different subject for a different day, because that's all about branding, and that's super, super exciting. The other thing to think about, it's they're talking about craft. Now, when we talk about craft, we talk about the crochet, we talk about the tassels, we talk about the fact that it looks like it's been kind of handmade. So they're really nice as well. It kind of isn't my vibe. It's a little bit too kind of, oh, it's just not my vibe. So but for you, you might really like that whole kind of look. There's a lot of kind of the crochets. It's really pretty, I have to say. It's really nice, but I think it's something that you've got to feel very comfortable in, and that you've got to like. But have a look at it, because I think from a trend perspective, it's really, really going to bring in different levels, because it's going to give different textures, it's going to give different fabrics. So again, you don't have to wear it all on its own. You might integrate it into other parts of your wardrobe to really support what you do. So I really like that one for sure. So that hopefully has given you a little bit of an idea. Oh, actually, let's talk about white. I can see you might be sat there thinking white gets really dirty really fast. But white, again, this season is going to be, I know we talked about it as a colour, but we're going to be seeing it a lot as garments, whether it be a long line jacket, whether it be a shirt, whether it be trousers, whether it be a knitwear. It could be a beautiful piece of tailoring, you're definitely going to see a lot of white, and don't be afraid of it. Wear it. It looks so, so stylish. It looks super. Kate Middleton's wearing it a lot at the moment. It looks absolutely fantastic. I really like it. And do you know what? It's really interesting, because as I've sat there, I've kind of checked my list every time I've been talking to you. The other one to think about is tailoring, because tailoring is still here. And we're seeing the tailoring in the form of blazers. We're seeing it in the form of waistcoats as well, which is really, really nice. And also the really high-waisted tailored trousers. So if you like that kind of tailoring, you don't have to wear it as a three-piece. You could wear it as just two pieces, or wear but I really like it when it's worn together. It's quite a masculine look, but I really like it. But again, my personality might not necessarily be yours, but you can still do that tailoring, and we soften it with a lovely silk shirt underneath, or we put it with a top underneath, that type of thing. So I've given you some real trends that are around this season, but I want you to think about, would I like to wear them? Would it work with my personality? Does it work with my lifestyle? How could I bring them in? And have a think about it that way. But there's a few of them to give you food for thought. So when you're now either shopping or you're looking online, it will start to make a little bit of sense. And what you'll start to see is, the more you see it, the more brands are doing it. They're just going to twist it according to their client base. So I hope that's helped you this week. Next week, we're going to be talking about shoe trends. There's quite a few of those. So there's definitely something for everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I hope your new year has started well. I will see you all soon. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.